They're not kicking down your door because you have gold. They're coming because they saw your porch light flicker during a blackout, because they smelled chicken broth when their kids haven't eaten in 3 days, because they saw your trash bag full of clean wrappers and knew you still have food. Looters don't guess. They hunt. And if you're leaving behind even one of these 3 signals, you're not just on their list, you're the next stop. After every major blackout in the U.S., home invasions spike up to 300% within the first 72 hours. The grid fails, law enforcement disappears, and the only law that matters is hunger. Here's how to disappear before someone else makes that decision for you. 3. Light, noise, movement. That's all it takes to get you raided. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be armed. You don't even need to have supplies. If you're glowing in the dark like a damn lighthouse, they're coming for you. Period. Because looters? They don't knock. They don't ask questions. They don't check Yelp for the best-stocked homes within walking distance. They follow light. They follow sound. They follow that faint flicker behind your blackout curtain and that muffled argument coming from your hallway. You think you're safe because the front door's locked? Cute. They saw your flashlight flicker from the freeway. They heard your pot clatter from 2 streets over. You became a target the second you turned on that headlamp to check the canned corn. Let me break it down. In a total blackout, no grid, no ambient city hum, no passing headlights, a candle flame is visible from over a mile away. 1 candle, 1 second of uncovered flame, and you might as well paint a target on your house in blood, and you think looters are just roving gangs in ski masks? No. They're your neighbor's cousin. They're the guy from down the street who just ran out of baby formula. They're the same people you waved at 2 weeks ago while mowing your lawn, but now they're starving. Now they're scared. Now they're watching for any sign of life, because life means food. Noise? Worse, you think you're being quiet. You're not. Sound carries when the power dies. No fridges humming, no HVAC, no traffic, just silence, and your dumb self laughing at a joke or yelling at your kid for knocking over a lantern. You think you're inside. That helps exactly 0. Ever heard a couple fighting through a paper-thin wall? Now imagine every home in your neighborhood is made of drywall and regret. They'll hear it. Every cough, every spoon clink, every word. And if you're cooking, God help you. That sizzle of meat on a pan? That's not dinner. That's sonar for the desperate. Movement's the 3rd sin. If you can be seen moving through a window, across a porch, or even just walking to the outhouse with a flashlight, they'll spot it. Humans are predators. Their eyes are hardwired to detect movement. You shift behind a curtain, and someone will stare at that curtain for hours thinking you're hiding gold. You don't want to be seen moving. You want your house to look dead, like it's already been hit, like it's not worth the risk. You want to be the last house on the block anyone thinks has anything left to steal. So what do? Blackout, not kind of, not good enough. Total darkness. Double layer the curtains, use heavy blankets, plywood, cardboard, tape the seams, not one crack, not one glow. Light inside should be red LED only, and even then only in rooms with 0 external exposure. For movement, you memorize your house blind, walk it in silence, crawl if you have to. No flashlights, no windows, no silhouette against a curtain. You are not a homeowner, you are a ghost. For sound, you speak in whispers. You eat quietly, no loud chewing, no loud anything. You pad the floors. Use rags under the feet of chairs. Tape the clinking cabinet doors. Tape the spoon to your cup if you have to. Do whatever it takes to make your life soundless. Because looters aren't dumb. They're hunters. Desperate, brutal, terrified hunters. And the only thing they trust anymore is their senses. You give them any signal, and they'll come knocking with crowbars and fire. You're not hiding from people. You're hiding from hunger wearing human skin, and you better believe it's watching for your light, listening for your laugh, waiting for you to move. 2. Trash. Yes, your garbage will get you killed. You think it's just trash. A soup can here, a crumpled wrapper there. Maybe the bones from that rat you finally figured out how to skin. You toss it in a bag, maybe leave it out by the shed, maybe dig a shallow pit out back. No big deal, right? Everyone's got trash. Wrong. In a grid-down collapse, your trash is intelligence. It's a map. It's a status report. It's a dead giveaway that you're not only alive, you're thriving compared to the people around you. And the kind of people who survive by looting? They read trash like soldiers read terrain. You left a Spam can out? That means you had meat. A granola bar wrapper? You've still got snacks. You threw out baby wipes? They know you've got hygiene, maybe even a working water source. You toss bones? Now they know you're eating protein. And if they find fresh trash, they know you've got fuel. Because only people still cooking make garbage that fresh. Let me tell you how deep this goes. Looters. Real looters. The ones who've done time, the ones who grew up hard, the ones who've already watched people die, will dig through your waste before they ever step through your door. They'll watch from a distance, smell your air, track where you dump. And when they see a trail of tuna cans, coffee grounds, or burned out tea bags, they'll know exactly what kind of supplies you have and how long you can last. And if they find medication bottles, vitamins, antibiotics, congratulations, you just became the walking pharmacy. So how do you counter that? You treat your trash like evidence, because it is. First rule, burn it. Not in the open, not in a big bonfire like a party. You do it low, you do it controlled. Pit fire, char it, break it down to ash, scatter that ash away from your shelter. Downwind, downstream, far. If it won't burn, you crush it, cut it up, you make it unrecognizable and bury it deep. Trash isn't just waste, it's signature, it's scent, it's betrayal. Second rule, don't be consistent. You bury in different places. Rotate your burn pits. Spread it. If a looter finds one pile, fine. It's a decoy. They won't get a pattern. They won't get intel. Because the moment they figure out how often you dump trash, they can time you. Ambush you. Know when you're out and distracted. Third, eliminate scent trails. That means double bagging meat scraps. That means cleaning out containers before tossing them. That means ash over bones. You don't just burn to destroy, you burn to deodorize, because animals aren't the only ones who sniff. Humans can smell cooking oil and coffee from 50 feet in still air. Imagine what they'll pick up after 3 days of hunger. You want to live? You go surgical. You live like you're being hunted, because you are. You don't leave a trail. You don't leave clues. You don't even leave a footprint. Because the first thing that betrays a survivor isn't their gear or their fire or their voice, it's their trash. And in the end, the guy who dies with nothing left behind, that's the one who doesn't get looted. 1. The look in your eyes that says, I still have something worth taking. This is what no one talks about. Not the preppers, not the YouTubers with their shiny go bags and slick editing. Not the guys at the gun range who think body armor and beard oil equals survival. But real looters, they don't start with doors. They don't start with windows. They start with you. And they look for one thing first, the flicker in your eyes that says you still have something left to lose. That's the tell. That's the giveaway. That's the difference between someone who's already been stripped bare and someone who's still hiding a stash. Because here's the truth. People are the biggest leaks in any survival plan. Not the gear, not the defenses. You, your posture, your expression, your tone of voice, your need to make eye contact, your twitch when someone says the word food, the way your kid grips your hand just a little too tight when someone walks by. Looters see it all. They're not idiots. Some of them were soldiers. Some were ex-cons. Some were just dads who snapped on day 4. And what they know, better than anyone, is how to read weakness. Not weakness like cowardice, weakness like hope. And in collapse, hope is a scent. And if you give it off, the jackals will smell it. You want to know how you tip them off. You smile. You're polite. You hesitate to say no. You say too much. You check behind you too often. You lie about not having food but flinch when they step closer. And in that moment, just a flicker, they know. They know you're not as desperate as them. Not yet. They know you're playing possum, that you've got something stashed, that behind that locked door or hidden panel or buried tub in the backyard is value. And in a grid-down world, value is everything. Value is motive. Value is worth killing for. So what do? You become stone. Not aggressive, not threatening. That's bait. That's challenge. You act dangerous. They bring more people. You go blank. You go dull. You act like a man who's already been gutted and left out in the sun to dry. You say nothing. You answer in shrugs. You look like you haven't eaten in days, even if you just had a bowl of oatmeal. Your posture? Slouched, defeated. Your voice? Low, monotone, tired. You don't make eye contact. You don't smile. You don't cry. You look like someone not worth the ammo. And your kids, your spouse, you prep them too. You teach them the mask. You drill it like fire safety. Because one wrong look, one flash of fear, one glimpse of defiance, and it's over. Because here's what looters are really looking for. Signs of life, not breathing, not warmth, signs of resistance. That means you've still got resources. That means you're still worth shaking down. Or worse, worth torturing. You want to live? You let go of your pride. You bury your dignity. You train your face like it's a weapon. You become the most forgettable human being on the street. You don't just hide your food, you hide your soul. Because in the end, the guy with the strongest walls doesn't survive. The guy who looks like he's already dead does. That's it. 3 things. 3 silent signals that scream, we're alive, we're worth it, we're unprotected. Light, trash, human behavior. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be stupid, you just need to be seen, and in a world with no rules, that's all it takes to get rated. So remember, you don't want to survive the collapse, you want to survive the survivors. Go dark, go quiet, go invisible. Because the looters aren't coming. They're already watching.